right, what's up, everybody? Woo! Give up the host. Yeah. But before I get into the comedy, let's just do a land acknowledgement, because we're on the ancestral homeland of the Brontosaurus. I believe they called it Pangea back in the day, but they actually pronounced it. So let's get to the comedy. My full name is Soweto Nkosi Bosia. Now I know what you're thinking. No, I'm not from Canada. I'm from Tuskegee, Alabama, which is a really diverse place. It's about 50% black and 50% niggas. Now, we all kind of look alike, kind of like Pakistanis and Indians, but we just don't get along too much. So I drive Uber. I really hate doing that. I drive Uber because I was fired from my last job. And they fired me because they're racist. They didn't like me working from home. Yeah, I was a waiter, but still, they didn't have to fire me. So I didn't want to do Uber, so I even applied to be a gang member. So I did. And so then I was sitting across from the GDs and I was asking them, hey, do you have a 401k? And they looked at me and they said, do you mean AK-47? No. So then they asked me, they said, hey, what's your gang name gonna be? And I said, probably Tattletale, that would be my gang name. I'm not going to jail for you guys. Because jail is a horrible place and everybody knows the worst thing about jail, right? We'll probably say this all together, right? The bunk beds. It's awful, right? I mean, you figure you spend your life killing people. Now you have to spend 30 years playing sleepover with some guy named Peanut in a bunk bed, right? But I guess the other bad thing, probably a close second, is the rape. Is probably probably brought it down a little bit. So anyway, drive Uber, and I have had a gun pulled on me before. It's frightening. I was in a bad area. I was like on 63rd and That's Your Ass. You ever in that area? Yeah, it was pretty bad. And it was young niggas that pulled the gun on me, but they didn't shoot me, thankfully. And because YNs, we call them YNs in our community. We say YNs. We're really afraid of YNs. But what's worse than YNs are OGs that act like YNs, right? Well, more specifically, original black gangsters, they could be OBGs. I think they should be called OBGYNs, actually. Term they should be called. So anyway, driving Uber. But we live in a crazy time right now, right? There's a war in Gaza, there's a war in Ukraine, and there's a Warren Buffett, right? Now, out of all the billionaires, Warren Buffett is the one I like. Bezos and Elon are just too much for me. Like Elon Musk has a shitload of kids. Like Elon Musk has more kids than an NBA player with a really great outside game, but a really weak pull-out game has. And all his kids have his DNA, and all his baby mamas have to sign an NDA, actually. So I don't like him. But what I also don't like is this diet racism that we have now. I'm used to real racism. I'm Gen X, so I'm used to real racism. So like I was on a plane, and I remember we had a black pilot, and I was thinking, and it made me think of this Fox News story where this guy was like, when I'm on a plane and there's a black pilot, I think DEI and I'm afraid. But what do? They get on the plane and they go to wherever they're going, right? I'm used to real racism. Stand on it. Like, I'm used to white people getting on the plane and saying, wait, hold on. You say there's a nigger flying this plane? No, I'm just going to take the Greyhound. I'll take my chances. But like, it's really, the only reason why you should be afraid is if you heard over the captain and he's like, this is your captain, Quintavious Bell, and we finna take y'all to, where we going again? Oh, Vegas? Oh, shit, yeah. It's gonna be lit in this bitch. Why? I'm gonna take y'all to Vegas, but first, we're gonna be a little bit late because we gotta stop at my cousin's house because that nigga owed me $5. So I told him I'm gonna stop there. And just remember, anything in Vegas stays in Vegas, you know, except for herpes, because that shit is like, that stays with you, right? So I would understand that. I'm worried about the economy because, you know, we have the rich and the middle class and the poor. Yeah. I'm what economists call a high-functioning poor. So for instance, like I can't afford these apps that teach you other languages or anything. So I watch, you know, foreign films to learn other languages, you know, on Pornhub, right? That's right, I can say put it on my face in 7 different languages actually. It's impressive. Also, I know you guys relate to this. Have you ever used your credit card to put a down payment on a breakfast biscuit? No, just me? Okay. Well, I did that, and it wasn't even one of those good credit cards, you know, with Samuel Jackson saying, "What's in your wallet?" Yeah. My credit card had Tracy Morgan saying, "Hey, I'm all you got!" Except at most places that serve soup. Now, what made the cashier upset is because the rest I plan to pay, you know, in cash. And I use the term cash loosely because I was actually paying in loose change. You know, like when you pay in like pennies and dimes, and you know, the dimes are so dark, they kind of look like pennies, they get confused. Like these dimes were so dark and sticky, they look like a dejected rapper leaving a Diddy party, right? Now the cashier is upset with me because FDR's in blackface. But I ended up finally paying for my chicken biscuit and I got out of it. Thank you, my name is Soweto.
Let's give it up for Soweto! Soweto, I'm sorry, I was saying Soweto, that is so my bad, I'm sorry about that. So, Soweto, now I've seen you at my mic before, shameless plug, I host a mic every Sunday at my buddies called Take a Shot Open Mic. And when you were first there, you were coming from another gig. Like a photography gig or a
videography.
A videography. Okay, so you're also a videographer.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I'm a videographer, freelance videographer, and I like filmmaking. So I did a few short films a while ago. Yeah, so I did a video job, and one of the things we did is we went to the Creation Museum. Now, the Creation Museum believes the Earth is about 6,000 years old, right? Which is crazy. And they had these dinosaurs and Adam and Eve in the same area, which was crazy.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And it was like, that's when I realized that, you know, Adam and Eve is just their biblical name. They actually went by Fred and Wilma.
Yeah, right? Right? And the snake was actually Dino?
Right.
Oh my God, what a weird gig.
It is.
Well, that's cool. Well, that's cool that you sort of transitioned into comedy then.
Yeah.
Yeah. What made you want to do that?
So, I like filmmaking, and I like comedies, but I did a lot of drama, like short films. And then when I watched the famous Cat Williams interview,
yes,
it clicked for me, and I said, wait a minute, filmmaking is the most expensive, but stand-up comedy is the least expensive.
Amen.
You can just get up and talk. Like, you don't
right,
need equipment.
Yes, that's what Nona was saying, is that it's so much more accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I could just talk to people, and, you know, at least I let people laugh. My first time doing this, I had a lot of laughter, so I've gotten better.
Good. Well, yes. I mean, we've all progressed. And
Yeah.
But you know what's funny that you mentioned Cat Williams, because I really did get a lot of inflections of your set similar to Cat.
Oh.
And not just because you both are black, but but just because of the cadence and the delivery, it just reminded me a lot of Cat.
Yeah.
Is he a big influence of
Oh
yours?
yeah, I like
say?
Cat Williams. Yeah.
Dude, and he's one of the only like huge comics right now that are still keeping it real.
Yeah.
You know, that like aren't afraid to tell it like it is and haven't sold out.
Yeah.
So yeah, real a
and
lot
he's
of
a little
respect
crazy.
for Cat.
That's what I
right.
like about
And then,
him.
exactly.
I love that part.
Well, right, yeah. Anyone who keeps it real isn't fucking sane.
Right. You gotta stay in line.
Right, and that's why they're so real and authentic, because they're just so authentically abnormal.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself doing in the future? Do you want to maybe perform more, or do you want to be a videographer more? Like, what's
Oh
do you
no,
see your path?
I would like to do stand up more.
Yeah, yeah.
I really enjoy doing it, and like it's just the excitement of like coming up with a new joke and figuring out if people will laugh. So that's always. I mean, it's so you know. I would like to do that and do film, kind of like Woody Allen, just not all the other
Yeah,
stuff.
not the
Yeah,
not
just the film
yeah.
stuff.
You know what? A lot. Let's just eliminate Woody as a comparison altogether.
Yeah. So I shouldn't say Bill Cosby is one of my other. Not for the
so
comedy
funny?
though, not for the comedy, for the sleeping pills.
You know what's so, you know what I was speaking of. Okay, so when you made that Diddy joke, people were like, and nowadays, whenever you make a Diddy joke, it's like, but back in the day, if you made a Diddy joke like that, people would think it was hilarious because of how underground that conspiracy was.
Right.
You know, and
right.
it's. I feel like it was. Right, I feel like it was the same with Cosby. You know, like when Hannibal was outing him, it was like, whoa! And then it became real, and we were like, oh, you know?
I have a story about, so
Yeah,
I used to work at this news magazine, and there was this one woman there, and we were just talking about comedians or something, and we were talking about Bill Cosby. We were talking about Bill Cosby and James Evans, like Good Times versus Cosby Show.
Okay.
And then she was like, yeah, I met Bill Cosby once. And then she was like, I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, what? And then me and my friend, like after the Cosby thing came out, I talked to him. He was like, remember that time? He was like, yeah, I remember that time. She was like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, and I was like, what? It's the Cosby. Like, you know, that was Jello.
Right.
Pudding.
Yeah, come on. What's so wrong with Jello and pudding?
Right.
What, you don't like Jello and pudding?
Right.
Wow, that is crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
This
boy.
was like what? 2000, early 2000s?
Wow.
Yeah, she was saying that.
Wow.
So something, she was her husband was a jazz musician or something. So she
Sure.
met him like in the back or something.
Right.
Apparently he did something.
In the back, yeah.
Yeah.
See? we don't like it. It becomes too real, and then we're like, ugh.
Right.
Oh, man. Well, so before we let you go, let the people know what else you got going on.
Nothing. I just do open mics. And I'll try to get booked on more things, and I guess follow my Instagram. I'm actually writing a feature film, so I want to do that and put some comedians in it, and I'd like to do like a Friday or type, you know. I have a film called Black to the Future about
Oh, I love that.
it's a black professor that's like in Chicago during the World's Fair, and then
Ooh.
gets pushed to today. And
Ooh, I love that.
he's not a great person, but it's funny. Like I love writing.
Ooh, hell yeah. There is not enough material about the World's Fair in Chicago.
I know.
That would be really cool. Well, I know that there's no white people in the movie Friday, but if you
Right.
do a Friday themed movie, I'd love to be considered as the token white person in that movie.
Right. Gotta have a token white person.
Yeah, I will be that person, and I will wear it with pride. Soweto Bosia, everybody. Let's give it up for Mr. Bosia. Hell yeah. Well, you know what? You've heard this woman slinging sounds all night. You heard her do the intro. Let's give it up for my co-host and co-producer and good friend, Victoria Flynn. Woo!
Good